What's going on, everybody?
What up, people?
Good
I see.
morning.
Is that a Man U shirt, Juan?
No, sir. This is Orlando City final today, brother.
Hey, let's go. Awesome FC right here.
Yep, nice, man. Nice. Oh, we have a Colombian player right there. He's very good.
Yes. Is it Johan Valencia?
Yep, he was from Cali, and then he went over there.
Dude, he's a client of mine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's really cool guy. Really cool guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. He's definitely a cool guy. That's good.
And he won last year, I think, with Cali.
Yeah, he was a champion with Cali. That's why he went over there.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Look at you guys already bonding over soccer.
Hey, I can talk about soccer all day.
Yeah, I know. You mentioned on the podcast you're a big soccer fan. You want to take your dream is to take your dad to a soccer game one day, right?
Yes.
Have you done that yet?
Not yet, but it will happen within the next year. So I'm
Beautiful,
going
man.
to several games at the end of this month, and I'm going to take my dad like in 6 months.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. All right, guys. Well, let's get started, man. So Andres Bustamante, he's from Texas, right? You're from well, you were born in El Paso,
Yes.
but you're in Austin right now, right?
Correct. In Austin
Correct.
now.
Yeah. You're in Austin. You're with Keller Williams. You've been in the industry for about 2 years now.
Yes,
Okay.
full-time 2-3 years, and then part-time I was doing it since I was 19, but as a leasing
19.
agent, so while in college.
Beautiful, man. So to kind of give you guys a little bit of background, so, and correct me if I'm wrong, Andres, I'm just taking this off of the podcast that we all listen to. But last year you did $13 million. And then so far this year, as of that podcast, which is about a couple Fridays ago, you were at 16 million for this year to date.
So last year I did 16.6 million on my
Okay.
own, so that's 37 homes. And then this year to date, I have
You're at
13.8 million, and then about 10 million pending right now.
10 million pending. That's freaking beautiful, man. So
Thank you.
so yeah, man. So you've been in the industry for a little over 2 years, and the interesting part to me is that you went right out of college. I mean, you finished college and then you jumped into real estate. So it's like you haven't even used your degree whatsoever.
No, I didn't use it whatsoever, dude. And it was scary to just jump into it because, a lot of my family, friends were like, "You're crazy. You've been working hard on an internship." And I got the job I thought I wanted.
Yeah.
But then I just said, I'm going to take the leap of faith because at 21 years old, I sold $1 million condo, and I saw the potential. And I just said, you know what, let's do it. And if I fail, I'll just fail forward and figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So right out of college, man, and then you decided to join Keller Williams immediately, or how did that go?
So it was more so. There's some background.
Yeah.
Let's make sure everybody's muted.
Can you guys hear me now? Okay, this is better. So it was, I had just graduated, and the summer I didn't know really if I was going to take that full-time job or not. But I listened to a podcast by someone by the name of Diego Corzo. He's been featured on Bigger Pockets. He's a great guy. And I reached out to him. I was like, dude, I love what you're doing. I want to join your team. Let's meet up. He said, call me next week, because he had a lot of people call him. Called him next week. Long story short, I joined his team. That was like around February of 2020. And when I joined the team and I thought it was all going to be networking because I love networking, COVID starts. And I'm like, damn, I need to find a way to make it work.
Yeah, that's so funny, man, because that's one of the things that you and I have in common, not just with More Homes, but also me personally. So when I first started doing real estate back in 2014, actually Juan was my first deal. Juan is my partner now.
Nice.
But Juan and I go way back. And so when I decided to get my real estate license, he said, well, I got to buy a house. Long story short, he ended up buying a house for me. So I got off to a pretty good start. I did $10,000 my first month in real estate. I had never done that much money.
Let's go.
But then I took a nosedive, just like you, man. You mentioned you went 6 months without selling a house. I went 8 months without selling a house. And I called out my dark ages, man. So can you talk about that, bro? Like, you went 6 months without selling a house. I know you already had some systems in place. You were doing the whole networking thing, but you went 6 months without seeing results. Like, how did you stay in the game?
I mean, it was scary. And don't get me wrong. Initially, like anything is going to be scary. It was just more so keeping the word and following through with what I said I was going to do. If I say I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m, which I do every morning, except for weekends, I'm going to do that because I need to keep the promises that I tell myself. So I said, I'm going to practice the contracts. I'm going to do what the badass agents are doing, because this is what I would do when I was barely starting. I would listen to real estate rock stars which is one of my favorite podcasts,
That's a good
and
one.
then
Yeah.
Bigger Pockets. And then,
Okay.
dude, right after that interview, I would jot down my top 3 things, call the agent and be like, look, I loved your podcast because of this, this, and that. And what do you recommend for an agent that's just starting? And I'd write
Yeah.
all of that down. So I wrote all that down and I was like, these guys are killing it. They took a while to sell as well. So it's probably normal. So in my head, it's like, if I keep grinding, and it's not grind culture, but more so keep doing what I say I'm going to do,
Yeah.
I'm going to be successful. And I was sure of it, like 100% sure. So yes, it was hard, but I knew that if I would set the systems and do what these top agents told me to do, I would be successful.
Gotcha. And then, well, during those 6 months, I'm sure you're also getting your family in your ear telling you, hey, man, because
Oh,
they're already telling you we're crazy, kind of getting out of college and going into real estate.
yeah,
And you
everyone
are
was
6
telling
months.
me, just like, what are you doing? I mean,
Yeah.
you rejected a full-time job, and
Yeah.
just what's going on with you?
Yeah. What did you go to college?
Ability to
What did you major in?
International business and MIS. So,
Okay.
I mean, not really related to real estate.
Yeah. I know for sure. All right, man. So walk us through what what your daily habits are, because it's one of the things that I liked about that podcast too, is when you mentioned that you have daily habits, and one of the things that you also mentioned is that you don't believe in motivation,
Yeah.
which I agree with you 100%. Motivation is momentary. So you talk a lot about discipline, so can you unpack that a little bit in your own words?
Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah,
firstly,
man.
it starts with my I have a planner that I use. It's called the Full Focus Planner, and it's right here. Let me pull that up. And let
Yeah.
me give you guys an idea of actually my morning today, to just give you an idea of what it usually entails. It's called the Full Focus Planner. So today what I did, I woke up at 4:50 in the morning. I did my bed, because doing good small wins are important. Regardless, that's a small win that you can always go on. And if you start your day with it, it's always going to be great. So then I went to the gym, I did the sauna, then I did a cold plunge. And this isn't every day, but this was today. Cold plunge. And then right before this meeting, I meditated and visualized that this was going to be a great call. And I kind of I wrote my goals down and checked off that it was a great call. So, kind of putting myself in that mindset. And then like things that I'm grateful for, and then just talking about how I'm feeling today. Just put everything into perspective, because we get so stressed.
Yeah.
So many things that we need time for ourselves. And don't get me wrong, real estate's going to be stressful, and it's not always about being positive.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's always great. No, sometimes you have to write what you're thinking down.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the morning routine. Workout, meditate, visualize, affirmations, write down my goals. I write my goals for 90 days ahead of time. So it's a 90-day plan.
Yeah.
And then I just visualize myself achieving those goals,
That's
It helped
freaking
a ton, dude. It's helped a ton. And I have my
Yeah.
visions board in my bathroom. Like, it's incredible. And it sounds kind of cheesy, but it's true. It works.
No, it's super powerful, man. And you mentioned one thing right now that I believe is so powerful, is that you got to celebrate the small wins, right? Like those singles, man. You don't always have to go for the home runs, man. It's those singles are going to get you to win championships. So, for example, like for me, like I try to make my bed every morning. That to me is a win. Like it's something so stupid, right? But the fact that I accomplished making my bed, it automatically starts me off on already like winning. Because
Oh, for
I could have
sure.
made a choice of not making my bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, if you tell yourself that you're going to do something and you don't do it, I mean, anyone that's listening, how do you feel when you don't do that? Probably feel less confident.
Yeah.
In your head, you're like, oh, I failed myself and I didn't do this. So it's just so important. I can't stress it enough. Firstly, take action, regardless if you're scared, because some people can see it being scary or excitement. They're both the same feelings. So just perceive it more so as excitement. And the other thing is, if you don't keep your word, trust me, the confidence won't be there.
Yeah.
It's so
for sure.
crucial to take action and stick with your word.
For sure, man. So again, you've been in the industry for 2 years. What makes you so special, man, is that you've seen so much success in such a short time, man. And I think a lot of that has to do with your discipline, right? But I think the other part that you also have, man, is that you're a problem solver. So just like us starting more homes in the year 2020, when everybody else was panicking, I take a lot of pride in saying that, because I mean, I have other colleagues of mine, they're brokers, and they'll be like, Edison, you're fucking crazy. Don't get your broker's license. It's too much liability. And you want to start a brokerage in the middle of this pandemic. You're crazy. And we looked at Juan and I looked at each other. Now we're fucking doing this, man. And let me tell you, I take a lot of pride in that, man, because we've seen good success in spite of all the chaos, man. But just like you, we look for solutions, man. So how were you able to find problems, and what problems did you solve to get you to the crazy success that you've seen, bro?
Well, the big thing is here, we have to realize that we're not salespeople. I don't like that word, salespeople. I'm not a fan. We have to realize that really we're problem solvers, we're educators, we're storytellers. How do you convey a story? Not to convince anyone, no. But how can you get to like okay, someone's not understanding what maybe home ownership can do for them. So you kind of tell a story, hey, you know what? I didn't realize I could own a home. And now I'm living in my house and making a cash flow. My house is making me money because I rent out 3 of the rooms and I live in another room. What would that do for you? So you ask questions, you put them in an emotional state that it's possible. I was 23 years old, just got out of college, didn't think it was possible. A lot of people don't think it's possible. You get that emotional state, and then from there, what would that do for you? So becoming better at storytelling. I joined Toastmasters. I need to know how to tell my story, because you need to know how to convey a message. Toastmasters is a public speaking group. It's probably one of the best decisions I've made as a realtor.
Interesting. Okay.
Better conversations, better leadership. My way of telling stories whenever I'm on podcasts now has improved in order to convey a message that emotionally attaches with people.
Right.
Because if you can't convey a message, then you're not doing your clients a service. And also, if you can't ask the right questions, you're not going to get the best results. The people who ask the better questions get the better results.
Yeah.
We're question askers, problem solvers, educators, storytellers. And to get to your point, my niche when starting off was house hacking. What's house hacking? Well, it's when you buy a house or a duplex, triplex, fourplex, you live in one unit or one room and rent out the others to offset your mortgage. Right now I'm doing that, and I'm moving into another house that I'm building, and I'm making $300 while living for free. How amazing is that? I mean, it's possible. And I only put 5% down.
Yeah.
So I started telling that story. It got a ton of traction. People started reaching out. It's like, bro, I'm 25. I'm in the same situation. How can I do this? Because it was relatable.
Right.
The problem here, though, COVID started, and then, dude, multiple offers. Freaking crazy, as we all saw. I was like, how the hell am I going to get clients to buy a resale property? I'm going to find an opportunity. That opportunity was new builds. Because I would go to every sales rep and put myself out there and look, I'm going to have clients. You better be ready to send me everything you have. And I was sure of it because I was putting the work in. So when they have stuff ready, I had the clients that had heard my story and were like, dude, you just need a deposit to go under contract for a new build? Yes. Okay. That was an opportunity. And that's how that problem was solved. So I had at one point when I was starting off, I had 24 under contract. My first year.
That's
like
insane.
15 million in volume as a rookie agent. So I got rookie of the year. And dude, I mean, it was like the work. The real estate, honestly, is hard work, but it can be easy work, It's just we do so many, let's check my email, BS stuff that doesn't do anything for your business.
Yeah. I think also too is that we already know what the plan is, it's just sticking to that plan and having the discipline to stick to that plan. Especially when you don't see results. That's why I want to hit on that you went 6 months without selling a house, just like I went 8 months without selling a house. Is that number one, you got to have clarity on what your purpose is, right? And once you have that clarity, you just keep hustling at it, man, until it just cracks, But you have to have that discipline.
Yes, clarity, discipline. I love that you touched on that. And just know your niche. Who are you talking to when you're doing a video? Do you know exactly who you're talking about? The age, what they're struggling with. How do you solve their problems? How do you become the person they think of when they think of real estate? Because I can tell you, all my friends think of me when they think of real estate. Top of mind. I send them stuff for their birthdays.
Yeah.
Whenever they have a home anniversary, as in like a year later, I send them stuff. I'm intentional about these things. And my business is referral based.
Gotcha. How do you stay organized with them? Because I mean, that's one of the things that I've struggled with is how do I keep in touch? I mean, I've sold, I mean, I don't know, maybe 500 houses by now or more, or, you know.
Hell yeah.
So
Nice.
how do we keep, you know, like how do we stay in touch and sending gifts? I mean, that's gonna get pretty expensive too. You know what I mean? So what's your strategy behind that?
The thing is, it's more so a mindset shift. How much do you value your clients and the fact that they can give you more referrals? You put a number to it and you hire someone to do that. Because
Okay,
it's
so
all
you're
about numbers. I mean, dude, one referral, what's your median price point over there?
right now it's up to about 320.
320. So
Yeah.
one referral, that's 3%. Let's say with splits, taxes, whatever, 6K, 7K. I mean, you probably get a lot of
Yeah, it pays
referrals.
for itself. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you put a number to that, and then you hire someone. Hey, dude, every time it's their birthday, send them cookies, send them something, whatever.
Mm,
Because that's taking time out of your schedule.
yeah,
And if
yeah,
you
yeah.
can systemize that, makes it way easier. I have 2 office managers. I have a team of 8 agents. We like to keep it between us, like 8 agents. We don't think we're gonna grow over 15. 8 agents, 2 office managers. My agents, I'm like, dude, first 30, 60 days, you're gonna learn the contract and you're not gonna use my office manager because I need you to learn it. What if someone calls you
Mm,
on a Sunday and you don't know your contract? That's not acceptable.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So right now you're running a team with Keller Williams, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So can you hit on that? Like why? Because I know when you would join Keller Williams, you mentioned on the podcast that being part of a team was a game changer for you. Can you talk about
Yes.
that?
Yeah, I mean, just the mentoring, the shadowing, your
Mm,
norm. Like, look, let's say Michelle, before she wasn't on a team and she has 3 under contract at once. I'm doing great. Well, Michelle, you're doing great compared to who? You know,
mm,
when you elevate your norm with a team, you're like, hey, I have 10 under contract. Oh, wow, this is my new norm. So your
gotcha.
norm elevates, you can shadow, and you learn lessons from past mistakes maybe Edison or Juan have made. Oh, you know what? It's not a mistake, it's a lesson because we learn from it. So hopefully the agents don't make that same mistake. So it's the
Yeah,
shadowing, the learning. Just dude, not reinventing the wheel. If an agent's
yeah,
hungry, they'll ask you, can I shadow you? Can I do this? Can I? And that's what I did every day. I was
yeah.
hounding my agents, but I set the right expectations. I'm like, look, I'm going
Right.
to join your team and I'm going to want to shadow you and I'm going to shadow you. So
Okay.
it started with a
Beautiful.
mutual expectation.
Beautiful, man. Now that you went from the agent on now you're on the leadership side, what are some of the challenges that you have right now with running a team and you know and getting your agents to be inspired every single day and pursue their dreams?
Yeah, and it's the big thing here is you're not always going to feel motivated. Like I said, motivation comes and goes.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, there's days when I'm like, shit, oh, I don't want to do this. But then I look really into, I write down my feelings. Why am I thinking this? Then also my why. What's the big purpose behind this? If you don't have a why, it's so hard to be disciplined. And then also my goals for the next 90 days, like what's important about these things. So when I'm not feeling it, I read them and I have them in my notebook. I read them every day and every night just to remind myself like, shit, if I'm not feeling it, what is going to help me surpass that? And like I said, it's not always going to be perfect. No. Like yesterday I had 3 presentations and I was like, oh, I'm tired, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But then I'm
Yeah.
like, I really enjoy educating people and helping them out. And
Yeah.
after the presentation, I felt so great because a lot of people were like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So there is a reward. Just don't expect it right away. You know, if you put
Yeah.
in the work, you will get rewarded. I
Gotcha.
trust you. And it's
Gotcha.
yeah, the big thing here, it's not always going to be great. You have to realize that it is progress. You go up, you go down, you go up, you go down. But if you keep at it, you'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say it's not about being perfect, you know, because you know the saying that says, well, practice makes perfect. No, I think practice makes progress. But you should never get perfection, you know. And I think that's something that a lot of agents struggle with is like they want to wait for the perfect time to do that video. They want to make the perfect time to do that reel or whatever the case, whatever they need in their business. They want to wait for that perfect time where everything, all the moons and the stars are aligned. You know, I think you just gotta go, man. I think the best way to learn is to just do.
Oh yeah, take
Just
action.
make,
No,
you
do the
know,
5 second rule by Mel Robbins, I believe. Dude, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go at it. Something is better than nothing, and that's so true.
yeah,
Analysis paralysis. Oh
yeah,
my God, it's so relevant. And I used to have it as well when I was starting off, you know?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
normal.
Yeah, the thing is, like, for me, the way I see it is like I'd rather fail at trying something than to be a rock star at being average. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to go out there and fail and know that I tried it, than for me to be like the average person and say, no, I'm not going to do it because it's too scary or it's too risky.
Oh yeah.
Um, so that's the way. And, in my opinion, that's the way you grow, man. Um, so you talked about many books. Like one of them is you mentioned is The Miracle Morning, which I've read.
That's great.
It's a great book, man. So you talk about having a good morning routine, right? So you wake up, you go to the gym, you wake up at 4:30, you mentioned, right? Or 5 o'clock.
4:50. But you don't have to do that. Yeah. You don't have to
You
wake
don't
up
have
so
to do that, right?
no.
And it's funny you mentioned that because that's one thing that I'm learning, bro. Like I'll be honest with you and everybody else in this room is that I can't. I tried the whole 4:30 in the morning thing. I did it for a month and I just couldn't do it. I mean, I just by 2 o'clock I was already burnt out. I wanted to go to sleep. It just didn't work for me, But I'm good waking up at 7. Around that time, I'm good with that. I can, do my meditation. I like doing that in my morning routine, and then I'm able to get to work and I'm not feeling exhausted. But for a while, Andres, I felt where I was comparing myself to people like yourself or like Grant Cardone, for example. I follow him. He's been a big inspiration for me. He's one of those that wakes up at 4:30 in the morning. So for a very long time, Andres, I found myself comparing myself to other people, and made me feel like I wasn't good enough because I wasn't waking up at 4:30 in the morning. You know what I mean? So that's one lesson that I've learned now is that I gotta stop comparing myself to people. I'm writing my own book. I'm creating my own story. You know what I mean? As long as I have the discipline, of course, and I bring that hustle every single game, man, I'm gonna get there in my terms.
Oh
And I,
yeah.
and I think that's important. I like that you mentioned that. Like you don't have to do it that way.
Yeah,
You
no,
know what I mean?
I don't like when people say you have to, like, you have to wake up at this. No, dude, we're realtors. Things get stressful.
Yeah.
You have to realize that's normal. It's going to get stressful and whatnot. It's more so, how much time are you dedicating to the most important person? Who's that? You, obviously. You're the most
Mm,
important person. So
yeah.
it's like you're prioritizing your clients, yes, but what about your health? What about you, just in general?
Yeah.
It's so crucial to have at least 30 minutes before you start doing anything. Before you, let's say you wake up at 7, start waking up at 6:30. Start meditating, start writing down things that you're thinking, start writing
Yeah.
your tasks for today, your top 3 tasks that are going to get you a step closer to your goals. It just takes 30 minutes. Meditate for
Yeah.
5 minutes, exercise for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
scribe for 5 minutes, read for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Dude, it's not hard. And we dedicate so much time to social media. So the perspective shift here is, do I value more my social media over myself? And that's what really people do when they use social media. It's just telling me, oh, they value this more. There's
Yeah.
times and places when you can use it, obviously, but just know if you're not dedicating time to yourself, it's going to be so hard to be successful.
I agree with that 100%, man. I think you have to have. I don't like the word balance because to me the word balance means it's a perfect zero, but you do have to have. And one of the things that we preach here is have to have spirituality. You have to have like that inner peace, man. That's why to me, when I'm in front of my little, I have like little shrine that I have at home, and I'm just sitting there, lighting up my incense or whatever, and I'm just trying to have a moment for myself. It just brings peace to me, and that to me is so important because if I'm gonna go into the office, I want to be able to give 100% to our agents, to my partner,
Yeah.
to the people that come into my office. I don't want to be stressed out, and I don't want to bring that kind of energy to the office, man. But I think a lot of agents, in our industry, is they carry a lot of weight, man. And it's like you said, it's very stressful. What we do is very stressful, and we tend to carry that stress with us. And when we're finally in front of a client, whether we do it intentionally or not, we have so much stress on our heads and on our minds and our shoulders that's the energy we're giving off, so we have to take the time to meditate, maybe do a workout, maybe go out for a walk, and washing the dishes gives you peace. And wash the dishes,
Yeah.
find something that gives
Come
you
wash my
peace.
dishes if it does.
Yeah, wash my car or play the guitar. Like I bought a guitar not too long ago, and even when I plucked it, I don't know how to play the guitar, but just plucking at it and just following the app that I'm using, I'm in my own little zone, man, and it just brings me peace. And I think that's so important, man. So how do you handle stress? I mean, what else do you do besides going to the gym? I mean, how do you handle, let's say you're in the middle of the day, you can't just stop your day and go to the gym and pound out a couple of reps. I mean, how do you handle that?
I mean, sometimes just breathing. If anyone has read the Wim Hof method, it's about breathing and deeply through your diaphragm. It's
Hmm.
not through the lungs, it's through the diaphragm. That's so
Right.
important. Sometimes like three breaths. And then just realizing, okay, that this thing, whatever the problem is going to go away sooner or later. You know, I mean, I had two homes going off contract yesterday. Okay, they're off contract. What am I going to do about it? I'll try and save them, but if I can, I'm not going to stress over it. It's done.
Mm.
Two homes off contract. That's 20K, 25K.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, detached from the outcome. That happened
Yeah.
already. What am I going to do to be a better person?
Yeah.
I'm not going to stress over it. Before I would be like, oh my gosh, they went off contract, this and that. Don't remember, guys, don't take things personally. Never take things personally.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, I was like, oh, I need the business and this and that. But if you're like that, you'll smell of commission breath. And
Yeah.
yeah,
You know what the one of the issues there is that, let's say, for example, like for you have so much business going on right now that if two contracts fall apart, it's not going to affect you, right?
yeah,
What happens is that, you know, the average agent will have one or two contracts going on, and then they take the foot off the pedal. But now they're depending on those one or two contracts to close. And if one of them falls apart, now all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. Now I'm stressed out. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't pay my bills, you know. So yes, I got two contracts, but let me go get two more. Let me go get two more, you know. So is it about the money? I don't know. I mean, yes, money is a factor,
of course.
but it's about having the peace. I mean, we go back to that, you know, having peace, you know, to have the freedom to do whatever you want, man. Like, for example, I want to go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah, what you're saying.
Yeah, like for me, like for example, like when I was in production, man, to me, I loved it when if I was in Hawaii or I went on vacation, I had so much business going on that I didn't feel stressed and I actually got to enjoy, you know. And the truth is, man, sometimes deals will fall apart, man, but I always wanted to make sure I had 10 deals going on at the same time. That was my magic number.
Yeah.
You know? I just pulled that out of the air. I didn't have a strategy behind it. I just said, man, if I can just get to 10 and just maintain it there, because I know things are going to go sideways, things are going to fall apart. I might have to come out of my pocket with my commission to save a deal, right? But once I get to that number, now I have a heck of a lot more freedom to play with that money.
It's what, it's definitely what the money does for you, and realizing that, you know, what is it going to do for you? And then that's when you can get more encouraged and whatnot. Because look, everyone here on this call has a story that hasn't been told. And once you start telling your story to audiences,
that's powerful, man.
Dude, to Instagram, put your freaking story out there. What is it about you that's interesting? A lot of people, and myself included, I'm like, my story isn't good enough. And when I was starting on podcasts, I was like, oh, it's not good enough. But then I was like on Real Estate Rockstars, I got on Bigger Pockets and stuff. I was like, oh, actually, it's pretty interesting. And now I take a step back. I'm like, it's actually interesting, you know? So everyone has a great story that hasn't been told. Start telling your story, start having it relate to other people, and find your target audience to where that story will relate and say, I'm in the same situation as Maribel or Raquel. If they're doing it, I can do it. Let me reach out to them, you know?
Yeah.
So it's storytelling. Oh, I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, it's perfect that you mentioned that, because that's something that I'm trying to change. You know, one of the things that I'm, now that I'm on the, on this side of the industry now, broker and everything. One of the things that I'm trying to get better at is how do I become more influential, and how do I now tell my story, like you said, right? So I am now also mixing in what my daily life could look like. So like the other day I went out to eat with my kids, and I was like, you know what, let me document this. I mean, it's an intimate moment with my family, but let me let people into my intimate life. It doesn't always have to be business.
People, yes, I can't stress enough, guys. Do not put just solds. If you put it just sold,
you mentioned that,
story behind the just sold? Why is it relatable? What problem did you solve? I hate seeing a just sold and just the price and the address. Like, okay,
like no one cares, right?
Who cares about that?
Yeah, when I see that, I just keep scrolling, man.
Just
to me, it sounds like you're just bragging. You know, I mean,
so it's right? Like, look, Rose just sold. Rose, when she reached out to me, she was like, hey, I have to rent. And she actually realized that you didn't have to put 20% down. How big of a misconception is that? Have you had that misconception? Question mark. And then
Yeah.
from there, you're like, and this is how we were able to solve it. At the end of the day, it's whatever makes sense. So if Rose would have wanted to rent, she would have rented. But now she knows what could have been. So you start putting those questions out there, and it's through those stories that we're saying. Um, it it has to make it relatable. Like, I love soccer. I'm gonna put on my Instagram soccer. I love
Yeah.
doing the cold plunge in the morning. I put the cold plunge. I put that I was in a sauna. I don't want people just seeing the work. They want to see, look, this guy's normal. You know,
Yeah.
I can relate with him because he's not just a crazy maniac just selling all over Austin, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have kids. That's awesome. It seems like you have kids, Edison.
I do. I have 3 kids.
Okay, you have
How do you
kids.
know I have kids? Do I look like a father?
You just said that right now.
I have 3 kids, man.
Yeah, so look, you have kids. Dude, people with families are like, wow, Edison is balancing this
Yeah.
along with
Yeah.
being a badass realtor. I
Yeah.
want him to be my realtor because he can understand the struggles of having kids,
Yeah.
and we can relate on that.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, well, that video actually got some good reaction from people, man. People were like telling me, "Hey, that was so cute," or I liked, how intimate that moment was, like, and that tells me something. People want to see that. People want to see the real you,
Exactly.
not just business all the
100%.
time. That's when people ask me, "Well, Edison, should I open up a business page and a personal page?" I'm like, listen, do what you feel is right. I personally don't. I don't recommend it because people want to see the real you. They don't want to see just
You're the brand.
business
You
all the
are.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
So one thing that you mentioned on the podcast, I don't know, because I mean, I honestly, I share that podcast with everybody in the company, so I hope everybody listens
Nice.
to it. But for the ones that didn't, you mentioned you have a strategy for social media. So you're big on Instagram, and you have real stories, and then you have your posts.
My
Can you
graphics.
walk us through what your strategy is? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So what I do is, actually last week I interviewed a new build sales rep, and my videographer that I hired, she's the Austin FC videographer actually. She we filmed 15 videos. The 2 days before I do all my topics and what I want to talk about, give like a one sentence of what it's going to be, just so I have it in my head. And honestly, now that I've done so many videos, I can get on the camera like that. Before it was like,
you do 15 videos all at one time?
yeah, hell yeah. I'm gonna do them in bulk.
So you
We
just get them
sit
out of the way.
down, dude, we sit down 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm gonna do it in bulk. I don't want to be all over the place, no, because I have other things that are important. So that day, that's the priority. I'm going to focus my full energy on those things. 2 to 3 hours of the videos. And I'm not going to waste my time because the day prior, 2 days prior, I already know the topics and what I'm going to talk about. So I interview people. I interviewed the sales rep. I interviewed my loan officer. I interviewed my business partner because I want other takes and not just me, So with my business partner, he's great at script. He's a monster negotiator. So we did about negotiating. With my loan officer, we did about 401ks, FHA loans, conventional, secondary home, primary, blah, blah, blah. With the builder, I'm like, dude, can you negotiate on a new build? Which now you can negotiate on that. Beforehand, you couldn't. And other questions. So I post Tuesday and Thursday reels. Friday, I post a graphic that I type out through Canva. It's so simple. But what's important about this is that every Sunday, I do the graphics. I do like 2 or 3. So I just have them on my drafts in case I don't want to do one the day prior to having to post it. And then I post stories all the time. What am I doing? Oh, I'm going to actually take a video of us right here in a bit. I was just on a talk, this and that. And then beforehand, I put that I was at the gym. I did a sauna and I did a cold plunge. So just things like that, just top of mind. And if you post real estate stuff, anything can be content on a story.
Gotcha. So you're kind of mixing everything a little bit. So you're documenting your day, which is the raw.
Yes, documenting
part,
the day story,
right?
just so you stay top of mind.
Right. But then you're also throwing in some informative content as well, like market updates, and then you tell stories with your clients, right?
Yes.
So that's kind of what the strategy that you're doing there. Okay.
Exactly.
Where do you get your content? Because that's one of the biggest questions that I get. Well, Edison, I don't know what to talk about. I run out of topics. Where do you get your content from?
There's so much to talk about. It's as simple as this. FHA loan. You can talk 10 topics on FHA. What's the minimum down? Is it only for owner occupants? How long does a PMI last? Like, give me a topic and I'll tell you 10 things that you can talk about. There's too many excuses. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You don't have video topics. Stop giving excuses. focus 30 minutes on one thing alone. Okay, what does a loan entail? Primary, secondary, investment property. What do all three entail? There's too
Yeah.
many excuses. Like, dude,
Yeah.
if you really care about your business and you have a big why, you will find a solution.
Oh, that's
So
fire, bro.
there's so
That's-
many topics. When I
Yeah.
hear that from my agents, I'm like, dude, figure it out. And in the next hour, tell me what you're going to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say there's two reasons why people don't get things done. Either they don't know, they lack of knowledge, or choose my language, they don't give a fuck. It's just one of
Yeah.
those two. Because if you really care, you find the answers, man.
And look, obviously I help my agents, dude, 100%. But when it's questions that are so simple, I look at it as, do you not think my time is valuable? And it's disrespectful. So that's kind of how I look at it. And I want them to start getting into that frame of, I need to come with value to my clients. Their
Yes.
time is valuable. So it starts with those small things in the brokerage
I love that,
later
man.
on go to your clients.
Yeah. Yeah. Bro, you're spitting on gold right now, man. This is stuff that I think I hope everybody's writing notes and really taking away, because this is stuff that we talk about all the time, but it's good to hear from someone outside of our company with a different perspective and the results to back it up, man. You know, another thing that you mentioned, brother, that I think it's so important, bro, is you read a book called Extreme
Ownership.
Extreme Ownership, man. And I think
Yeah.
that's a big piece in our business where we don't take ownership of our business. You know, we wait for someone to tell us what to do, give us direction. And even though we already know what to do, we're waiting for someone to spark a fire up our ass every 3 months or something like that to get us back on track. And I believe that goes back to not taking ownership of your business, not taking responsibility. Because at the end of the day, doesn't matter who you're with. You could be with Keller Williams, you can be with us, you can be with EXP. But until you start taking ownership of your business, you take responsibility for your results, then you're not going to see or live the life that you want to live. You're always going to be jumping from one brokerage to the other because you're trying to chase like an easy button, but there is no easy button. You got to start taking ownership. So can you unpack that in your own words? You read that book, which I'm going to pick it up. I think that's the one that we should all read.
It's a good book. The reality is, if we are basing our life on other people's reactions, is that something we can control? No, you can never control how someone reacts.
Yeah.
So why would you base your life on something that's not in your control? Why not take extreme ownership of your life? Yeah. Everything that happens for you is either happening to you or for you.
Yeah.
So you need to shift that perspective to, you know what? Hey, maybe this that's a team effort or something. Maybe this happened and they screwed up. I'm the team leader. I'll take extreme ownership. Or maybe you hired an inspector and you recommended to your clients and the inspector wasn't the best, and now your clients have to pay $3,000 out of pocket. You know what? Me, Andres Bustamante, I'm gonna pay those $3,000 because I recommended the inspector.
You take responsibility, yeah.
Dude, I've had a $50,000 lesson. One of my most important clients, Cody Sanchez. People probably know her. She has like 1 million followers on Instagram.
Who?
Cody Sanchez.
Oh, you don't have to do a breakfast now?
Oh, I thought someone said who. So Cody Sanchez helped her, and I'm representing her as a buyer. There's a seller, and the seller says that there's going to be a warranty, a builder warranty. This is a luxury build, and option period ends, which is when you can negotiate stuff and your earnest money isn't in play. It ends, and the seller's like, no, we're not doing a builder warranty. In hindsight, I was like, I could have dwelled on, oh, she told me she was going to do it and she didn't do it. I messed up because I didn't put it in writing. So I said, how am I going to make this right? Well, I looked for millions of builders that will do a warranty on something I didn't build. Found one that was $50K and I paid it out of my pocket. That's extreme ownership.
Wow.
And they love me for that. Like,
yeah,
they're like, dude, we're going to recommend anyone to you. And it wasn't about that. Like, it wasn't really, oh, I had referrals. No, it's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I did screw up because I didn't put it in writing as much as I could bitch about the other agent. No, I didn't put it in writing.
Absolutely. And it's funny because one thing led to another, right? So again, we go back to the very basic, right? You have the discipline, right? And you solve so many problems that when it got to that, which is inevitable, we're all going to have to deal with something like that.
For sure.
But the difference between you, man, and the rest of the industry, or most of the industry, is that you have so much business going on that you're able to say, hey, I'm gonna take 50 grand out of my pocket to take care of this problem because I have so much business going on.
I mean, I
You
also
know?
did it when I was starting off my third sale. I hired I hired an inspector, and then I hired a roofer, and this is an Austin FC client. If I had only sold 3 homes, and the roofer was like, "No, your roof is fine." My clients closed on the house. They hadn't seen the house. I had done everything through video. They closed on the house, and 3 or 2 roofers tell them they have to get it fixed. I'm like, it's kind of weird. So I bring my other roofer, another guy. He's like, bro, it has to be fixed. So I'm like, shit.
This
And
is after you closed?
Yeah, after. So I was like, I could have blamed the other roofer, but no, I was like, I'll pay it. And I paid 5K, even though I was barely starting, because I knew that was the right thing to do. And yes, it is hard. I was like, but I just knew the right thing to do. So yeah, that's when I was barely starting. And as much as it sucked, I still made like 1K on it, but I put so much time into it. At the end of the day, it's turned out fine. Just say, yeah, that was a hard one.
Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow, especially when you're first getting started, man. Most people don't have 5K in the bank.
Yeah, I
know?
mean, I had already closed, so I used part of that, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it was hard.
So one thing in our industry is that we have a huge failure rate. I mean, I forgot what the number is, man. It's like it's up there, like in the 80-90 percentile, where most agents don't make it, man. Why do you think we have such a huge failure rate in our industry?
The laziness and just dude, people that do great are those people that are willing to get out of their comfort zone. And this is so cliche, but really your life starts at the end of your comfort zone. It sounds so cliche. It's just so true. Join Toastmasters, start telling your stories, start putting more on Instagram. The perspective I want you agents to take here is more so, if I'm not putting content out there, the people I could have helped will not be helped, and I'm doing them a disservice.
Mm.
Because I used to not like putting content, and my coach, I used to have a coach, was like, dude, you're such a selfish guy. And I was like, what are you talking about?
I just
He's
gave
like,
up $5,000. What are you talking?
Yeah, I was like, bro, what? And he was like, well, dude, the stories and everything that you could be posting, you're the best agent, right? It's like, yeah, I'm the best agent to be able to help them. Well, people won't learn about you if you don't put yourself out there. So you're actually doing them a disservice. And I was
Yeah.
like, shit.
Yeah,
So
it's
that helped me start post, and now I love it. Now I can get on camera and do it way easier than before. Before it takes time. Like if you look
Yeah.
at my videos in the past, it takes time, but now it's like I really enjoy it because I put the work. And you go back to your point. Why do so many agents fail? They don't have systems. They're not clear on their goals, and they don't follow through with their word.
That's huge, man. That's huge. And I think we all struggle with that, right? So we're not gonna sit here and say, hey, no, we're
Normal.
perfect.
No,
We all
it's
struggle with
normal.
that. But it's
So
like you
normal.
said, that's where the discipline comes in and says, man, I said I was gonna do this today, even though I don't feel like doing it, I gotta get it done.
Yeah, and
You
why
know
is
what I
it
mean?
important to get it done? Well, okay,
Yeah.
this leads to this other goal that I have.
Yeah.
Does that goal, when you're waking up, excite you? If it doesn't, then you need to find something else. Go walk for an hour, talk to yourself as if you're a little kid. Why is this important? Little kids are great at asking why.
Yeah.
Why? So go walk with yourself, talk to yourself, be like, why is this important? Okay, when I don't feel like it, will it help me? Do you feel like the fire in you when you hear your goals? If you don't, you need new goals. You need a new why.
Yeah.
Because if you
No,
don't,
for
you're
sure.
not going to be disciplined enough.
For sure, man. For sure. It's 10, just for the sake of time, so I know you have other things to do, Andres. I really appreciate you so far, man. It's 10:44 right now. I want to open it up to everybody. I know some of you guys might have some questions or maybe just a comment or whatever you guys want to tell Andres, man. This is the time you guys want to go ahead and anything you guys want to ask, go for it. Open mic. I know Renato, you're a big fan of Renato, you're a big fan, and Chris Sabi, you guys are big fans. They follow you on Instagram. When I told them about, oh yeah, I already follow him. I'm a groupie. You know.
Yeah, I reached out to him.
What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I reached out to him about the soccer. I know he follows Arsenal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they lost last weekend, but you know.
I know it happens.
Yeah.
Nothing. Any
man.
questions, guys?
It's great.
Wait,
beautiful.
my biggest take, Andres, thanks so much for your time on more than the motivation and more that the habits and all that we all preach all the time. I think it's important for the agents that might have a few questions. I know you. How many contracts you have right now?
Under contract, 17, 2 fell off contract.
Got it. And most of those are on new construction.
Yes, I think 2 resale and the rest new builds.
Yeah, so I don't want to ask so much about the recipe, but what do you do to target the new construction more than anything else?
I've just put it out there on my social media and been an educator and like told my story of how I own 4 houses now.
Okay.
And how I bought all those houses through new builds.
Okay.
Usually you have to wait a year to buy another house as a primary occupant.
Mhm.
But the fact that you can get it under contract and within 8 months it's finished, you can fulfill that year. So that's a problem you solve. And then also just being like, hey guys, you don't have to bid for a house. You can get a new house. So it all starts with the questions we ask. If someone tells me, Andres, I'm renting, great. Congratulations for renting. You're repeat and approved. They need to be heard. That's great that you're renting. So what if I told you that you can lock a price right now and once your lease is over, you can move into a new house? What would that do for you? Oh my gosh, wait, can I do that? I thought it was only resale homes. Well, no, there's something known as new builds. Would you consider that? So it's by asking questions, because if someone says they have a lease, most average people are going to be like, oh, okay, let's wait. All right. But dude, you're doing them a disservice. You're not educating them. There's new builds and they take 6 months, a year to be built. So what if that's a solution? You lock the price. Isn't it incredible? You can lock the price and you get a warranty, a 1 to 10. You get lender incentives. So that's how a lot of my clients were able to get a house, because they had a lease, but I delved deeper. I'm like, dude, would you consider locking a price if you could for only 1,000? Wait, what? You can do that? Yeah. And what about lender incentives? What about this and that? Wouldn't it feel great to not have to deal with the resale later on? If they're like, no, I want to resale. Okay, let's go for a resale. Let me tell you what you have to do in the meantime to be best prepared. So don't stop at the no. You need a nurture.
Right.
And that's how I got a lot of new builds, because I asked the right questions and I put it out there to my audience because I know they were my target audience. That helped. That helped a lot.
The majority of your clients right now are coming from just posting on social media, or just, I mean, a little combination?
It's like crazy comment. Like I might get 1 or 2 referrals a week.
Okay.
Before, like 6 months ago, I'd get like 3 or 5, because that's when the market was just crazy. Referrals is the top. Sphere of influence is still incredible. I'm part of Toastmasters. I play on 2 soccer teams, a lot of social groups. I get a lot of business from that. So my groups I'm in, Sphere of Influence, social media, and referrals, those are like top. I don't cold call. I cold call for fun though on Mondays, just to get out of my comfort zone, because I'm still not comfortable with it. But it's not something I get business from like yet. I know I will get it, but I cold call because I like to get on my feet and get uncomfortable. I'm not comfortable yet with cold calling, to tell you the truth.
So telling your story and being very social, you think is probably what's getting you the most business right now.
Oh yeah. And it depends on what type of personality people have. But that's so easy, dude. Everyone has an Instagram. Like,
right.
Dude, I challenge people today, put 2 stories. It's so simple. Like, what are you doing? Just film it. Oh my God, it's so simple.
And the reality is that that's where people are spending most of their time. Like, it's so funny. Now I go to a nightclub. Like we were celebrating Juan's wife's birthday over the weekend.
Nice.
And there was people on their phones, sitting on couches on their phones at a nightclub. Like, so that's where people are spending most of their time. So it's like, now you can leverage that technology to really be, like you said, top of mind and be in people's faces, but tell a story.
Yeah.
Don't
and
just
if you
put
want
out
to
there
be
just sold,
dude, if you want to be referral king, it's also asking the questions. Most people will ask, do you know of anyone that's looking to buy or sell? Why is that a bad question? Because you're leaving a yes or a no. When you ask, who do you know that's looking to buy or sell? That's open-ended. And you're leaving them room to think. So like I said, the questions we ask are crucial. Don't ask who do you know, ask who do you know, and that opens up more of the conversation. And then from there, I mean, you guys want to be referral kings, it's simple. Once you get a buyer consultation, send them a list of questions. When's your birthday? Do you have a dog, or do you have anything special that you really enjoy doing, this and that? And send them those on their birthdays. Like I was talking to Edison right now. Dude, send them stuff and top of mind, and trust me, people appreciate that. Put yourself in their shoes. When has someone sent you a letter? or sent you cookies for your birthday. Doesn't happen that often, but when someone does, what do you think of them when you see them?
Right.
Dude,
I
you're
don't-
like, holy shit, I love this person.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Client Giant is good for that, Andres. I don't know if you heard of them.
Client
It's a
Giant.
company. Yeah, it's a
I'll have
company
to
we
look
used to
into
use back in the day. They have like 2 different programs. One of them, they'll reach out once a quarter. Your client will get a gift.
Nice.
And then you can do another one, I believe, is every 6 months or something like that. But they have different programs. But it's awesome because when we were on there, my
I'll
client
write
will
that
get like
down.
a towel with their initials on it, for example.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Giant.
yeah.
I'm gonna write that down. I do by
Yeah.
referral only. I joined that program a while ago. Client.
Yeah, and then when you're under contract, that's another one that they during the contract they will get like different little gifts. So like for example, let's say the contract it's a little stressful, they'll get in the mail like a tea to relax them. You know, like
Nice.
it's something so simple, right? It's probably like a $5
So
box of
simple
tea,
yet so
but
effective.
yeah, it's
Hugely
just
effective.
is the thought that count. But guys, man, if you guys don't have any other questions, brother, what's next for you, man? What's in the horizon for you, man?
I'll be buying storage facilities or retail very soon within the next 6 months or 9 months. That's something that gets me very excited. And then just growing the team quality wise, I really enjoy being a mentor. So that within the next 2-3 years, I'm going to want to choose when to work. I'm gonna work. I love it. It's real estate. I really enjoy it. But it's more so choose when to. So to give you an example, I'm going to watch Arsenal Tottenham, Arsenal Liverpool, and a Europa League game, and I bought my tickets yesterday. And I'm
Nice.
going the 30th of September to the 10th of October. That's because I would put in the work, and I knew what the work would lead to.
Oh
So
man,
that's what it's allowed me to do, and I'm so
I love it.
pumped. So growing
I
the
love
team
it,
to
man.
be able to do more things like that, and then also talking to high schoolers and college students about the differences between being wealthy and being rich, because nobody really
Wow.
knows the differences with that, and it just gets me so excited. So
And they don't teach you that in school, man. We talk about that a
no,
lot. Yeah. They don't teach
it's
you that.
horrible that it's not taught. So I'm super excited for those things. Really excited for that.
Well, Andres, thank you so much, brother. I mean, you're being inspirational, bro. Again, for someone that's been in the industry for just 2 years, man, and you're finding solutions despite all the chaos, all the negativity that's going around. You can't swipe through your newsfeed without an article talking about how the market is going to crash,
Oh my gosh.
But you are just putting your head down and you're just chugging along and you're finding solutions, man. And that's what it's all about, man. So thank you so much, brother, for your time and coming on here and just hearing you talk, man. It's been very inspirational, boy. And
Yeah, of
I wish you the
course.
most success and let's stay in touch, man.
Likewise, if you guys are ever in Austin, let me know. And if you guys have any questions, just send me a DM on Instagram. Nice meeting you all. You guys kill it.
Awesome, Andres. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you, man.
Of
Thank you.
course.